numbers make amazing happen. Please gift responsibly. Rules and procedures apply. Players must be 16 or over.
Ian Collins, weekday afternoons from 1 on Talk Radio.
20 past 1, this in from Rob Waterhouse. A lot of companies do a 4-day week at the moment. That's often 4 on and 4 off, 12-hour days. If we are to become a 24/7 economy, 4-day week is easily done with a flexi time to avoid traffic congestion and physical distancing, which is the new normal, of course. Then why not? Some changes are for the better. But if that means a very small business who's already up against it has to employ more people in order to make the flexi template work, then I can see why a lot of companies would say, sorry, we can't do that. Dan Rowler says this couldn't be a worse idea right now. Brits will be working harder and longer hours for many years to come as we hoover up the damage caused by coronavirus. It's a nice idea, but will never work. The capitalist system does not recognise work-life balance in this kind of way. Could you survive on a 4-day week? The last time we heard about the 4-day working week, of course, Jeremy Corbyn and John McDonnell were at the helm of the Labour Party, and the policy died an unremarkable death as the Tories won that landslide in December 2019. But the conversation about a 4-day week has been revived after European politicians sent a letter to Western leaders claiming that it would help economies recover. The SNP party conference overwhelmingly backed the policy this week, and Unilever is now trailing the policy with its own staff too. But with current economic climate as it is, could the UK survive a 4-day working week? Let's speak with Matthew Lynn, financial columnist and author, and Aidan Harper, researcher at the New Economics Foundation. Aidan, firstly, I'm instinctively assuming you're all in favour of a 4-day working week. How would it work?
Absolutely. So we're in favour of a 4-day working week, a general reduction in working time with no reduction in pay. And we say that this brings benefits to the economy, to society, to mental health, and to our relationship with the environment. And we know that on a macro level, if we look at countries who work different hours, we know that countries that work fewer hours tend to be more productive and have stronger economies. And it's economies that work more hours who are actually less productive and have less strong economies. So within Europe, for example, Germany, the Netherlands, all of Scandinavia work far fewer hours than the UK, and yet they are more productive. The country that works the most hours in Europe is Greece. We have to ask ourselves the question, what type of economy should we be aiming towards? The likes of Germany and the Netherlands and Sweden, or towards the likes of Greece?
Shouldn't companies and employees between them work out the hours they want to work?
So I don't think anyone's calling for a flat rate state law from tomorrow everyone works a 32-hour week. No one's calling for that. There are many ways in which working time can be reduced. So you can choose to reduce your hours. You can campaign through your trade union to reduce your working hours. An organisation can reduce working hours. And yes, there are laws that can be passed which facilitate this move. The important thing is to see that each workplace, each sector, each economy needs a different approach. And yes, absolutely agree. No, there shouldn't be a flat rate move tomorrow, but no one is asking for this. I think it's a bit of a misrepresentation of the argument.
So what is being, just clarify then if you would, Ed, what is being suggested as far as you can see then?
So far, there is something created, like what the Labour Party put forward last year was the idea of a working time commission. So a working time commission would measure rates of productivity in the economy, and over time would create bank holidays as the economy got more productive. And so this would enable a transition towards shorter hours through the creation of bank holidays. We already know that bank holidays are good for spending in the economy, which is essential for recovery, particularly in the leisure and culture sector.
So in theory, you'd end up with a bank holiday every week?
Over time, yes, but that's not the only way.
I mean, there may well be, within the kind of dream idea of working fewer hours and being more productive, you know, it could well be that there are companies that simply cannot make that work, and having to pay for the price of extra bank holidays could be the difference between survival and not survival. So that there's that problem. And also, if you can just briefly address the issue of the public sector areas like, well, hospitals and schools would be the obvious ones. How would that pan out?
So I'd like to, yeah, I mean, there's quite a few points going on here, and I think it's really important that we zoom out a little bit. Like we are in a crisis, and sometimes it's hard to conceptualize the longer term changes in working time. People have always had aims for what working time they would like to work. The 8-hour day, the 2-day weekend. These didn't occur because employers had more flexibility and people chose what to do. It happened because of campaigning, because of an imagining of a different world and a fighting for and achieving that world. No one is arguing that the 2-day weekends or the 8-hour day somehow damaged society or the economy. And in fact, the biggest gains in working time reduction to win the weekend, to win the 8-hour day, happened after moments of massive crisis. So after World War I, during the Great Depression, and after World War II. That is when we reduced our working time the most that we ever did historically. We are in another moment now where we can address major issues, structural issues in our economy to do with overwork. I think when it comes to, I think it's really important to talk about pay here.
Because that's the big question, isn't it? I mean, exactly. Would people be working more hours a day, or would they be working the same hours a day and less hours over a week?
So the argument is that we've reduced working time without reducing pay. And in fact, we live in a country where we need to increase pay, particularly for the lowest earners in this country. We know that low pay is bad for the economy because we are in a wage-led economy. It's important to spend and to circulate money in the economy. Okay. And so therefore, decreasing working time whilst maintaining pay is a net benefit for the economy. We spend more money in the economy. It makes sense. And we can look at other countries who are currently working fewer hours than us with higher rates of pay to see that this is a net gain for the economy. What is terrible for an economy, and particularly at this moment in time, is mass unemployment. And we need to reduce, if there is limited work in the economy, we should share it evenly.